Great Lakes Prepping here. In this week's edition of the Sunday Soup series, we're making a French lentil soup. A couple things to mention. First, I've never actually made lentil soup before. The idea for this recipe in this video actually came from a fan and friend of the channel named Scott. So since I've never made this before, it's going to be a bit of an experimental video. And secondly, here's sort of the problem. I don't actually like lentils. I've tried them in various formats over the years, and I just can't bring myself to enjoy eating lentils. So how am I going to make a recipe video for something that I'm pretty much already guaranteed not to like myself? Well, I've got some very special guest taste testers who are going to help out, give this soup a try, and tell us what they think. So let's see how it goes. We've got some good ingredients and a really good recipe to use as a starting point. So, Scott, this one's for you. Our ingredients are olive oil, chicken broth, Puy lentils, petite diced tomatoes, finely chopped yellow onion, chopped carrots, chopped celery, bacon, minced garlic, kosher salt, black pepper, herbs de Provence, and fresh parsley. A quick note about the lentils and herbs. For a proper French lentil soup, it's important to use the right type of lentils. So for this, we're using Puy lentils. And yes, I did have to Google how to actually pronounce that word. And most authentic French lentil soups seem to call for a dried herb blend called Herbs de Provence. So that's what we're using. I'd never used this before, and I have to sort of use my best educated guess for how much to add. To get started, chop up 3 strips of bacon and cook in a medium stock pot until just short of crispy. At this point, add about 1 tablespoon of olive oil to the pot. Then throw in 2 cups of finely chopped yellow onion, 1.5 cups of chopped carrots, 1/4 cup finely chopped celery, and 3 cloves of minced garlic. Stir everything up and let the vegetables saute in the oil and bacon grease for a few minutes on medium heat until the onions are translucent but not brown. Now add a 14.5 ounce can of petite diced tomatoes, including the juice from the can. Then add 6 cups of chicken broth, 1 cup dried French lentils, 1 teaspoon salt, 1/4 teaspoon black pepper, and 2 teaspoons of the Herbs de Provence. I will say, as this cooked, I thought I must have added too much of the Herbs de Provence because the smell was quite strong. It's a very aromatic herb blend, and I worried it would overpower the soup. In the end, though, I think it was probably just the right amount. Bring everything just to a boil and then reduce the heat to a low simmer. Cover the pot and simmer on low for 45 minutes, stirring occasionally. After simmering, we want to thicken up the soup just a little bit, so carefully remove 2 cups of the soup from the pot and blend it, either with an immersion blender or a standard blender. Then just pour the puree back into the pot with the rest of the soup and stir it up. And that's it. Now it's time to serve. If you like, garnish with a pinch of fresh chopped parsley. So here's where it gets tricky for me. I think the soup smells great and looks amazing. When I taste the broth, I really like it. Every ingredient of this soup is right up my alley, and I can see all sorts of possibilities for it. But the lentils. I just can't force my brain to enjoy the taste of lentils. From my experience in soup making and cooking in general, I think this is probably a very good soup if you like lentils. I do realize that it's a little weird to make a dish that I don't personally like very much. But as I mentioned earlier, I've got a couple special guest taste testers who are big fans of lentils and lentil soups. So here's my brother and sister-in-law giving this soup a sampling and offering their impressions of the recipe.
I like the broth. I like my soups kind of, not overly thick. And so the consistency is just right to me.
I like the texture too. It's not heavy. I mean, for having some bacon and.
Yeah, I think it's good. I don't think I've had a lot of dishes with this particular variety of lentil. It reminds me more of like the brown or black lentils that we have a lot.
I like that it's not salt heavy. I was expecting it to be a little saltier, and it's got a savory flavor, but it's not overpowering, and it's got a good mixture of liquid to solids, I guess.
I would eat it. I think you gave us enough that we can make a meal out of it, so I'm looking forward to that.
I might have this with like a hunk of bread with some butter on it. Yeah. So,
Oh, yeah. I mean, you gotta have soup with bread and
something
butter. It's just not the
like
same otherwise.
dip it a little bit.
So there you have it. Thanks to my brother and sister-in-law for agreeing to help out. Ultimately, you'll have to judge for yourself. If you like lentils, give this recipe a try. And Scott, I'm interested to hear if this looks anything like the French lentil soup you had in mind. So that's it for now. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button and stay up to date with all our latest stuff. Thanks for watching, and until next time, this is Great Lakes Prepping.